All right, people, we are here. It is the semifinals of the fifth season of the Battle Hub Draft League, and I'm not alone. I am joined by two of our fellow playoff participants, being Al, aka Abomination, as well as Kingbura. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Yes, hi, it's me. It's Abomination. I trust you know who I am.
Everybody,
How's
Kingbura here. Thank you for having me. And by that, I mean both in this video and in BHDL in general, which is such a great community to be in.
Thank you. Glad to have you. Glad you joined, my friend. So we can take a look over here at the playoff bracket. We can see that the L.E.A.F agents and the Mamoswine doubters have advanced, as well as the Atacama Tyranitars and the Demewlition Force. So, let me see how I want to talk about this. Do we want to just get right into the matchups, or do you guys want to talk about y'all's matches?
I don't like L.E.A.F anymore. But I don't need to talk about mine.
Now, I myself, I faced L.E.A.F a few times in different leagues, and let me tell you, that thing has cooked me. I mean, one time when I faced a Praetor in another league, it dodged two of my Hurricanes, and then it was weakness policy, and Ice Beam for my Darkrai, and almost cooked me. So I feel you. L.E.A.F is a scary threat.
Yeah.
What
It's
about
not
you,
the first
Kimber?
time.
You came so close to victory in your game. It was crazy. You did an awesome job.
Yeah, I mean, Raymon, prepping against Raymon is very tough. It's like a nightmare. But I believe that I did my best. Probably in the end, I made some mistake, like I should have slip powdered the Shampoo, but still, it was a very, very hard and well fought game by both of us. And the strong player won, I guess, the strongest player.
Well, we'll say you had him on the ropes. You like almost had him, my friends. And keep in mind, like this is your first time in the BHDL, so that was very impressive, I must say. So with that,
Thank you.
let's go ahead and dive right into this first matchup, which is Scorpion versus Raymon. So we've got the Lunala versus the Chien-Pao. We got the best rapid spinner in the Great Tusk, potentially, versus one of the best spin blockers in the, what's it called? The Giratina. So, pretty hype matchup. What are your thoughts?
Do we want to start, Al, or do you want me to start?
Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about the drama of this game because Scorpion and Raymon both are such consistent players. Scorpion is the reigning champ, of course, while Raymon won 2 times the BHDL. So probably the 2 strongest players in the history of BHDL, I believe. So
Absolutely.
this speaks for himself. This is gonna be a great game. When we talk about Scorpion's matchup, we cannot ignore the Lunala's numbers. Lunala is the kill leader of the league with 23 kills, but probably the most impressive number is the 3 deaths. Lunala died only 3 times during the whole season, and this is crazy because that means that Scorpion is very good at protecting it. In this game, though, Raymon's Ubers are very strong against Lunala, I might say, because Chien-Pao and Giratina, they both can hit Lunala very, very hard, especially Chien-Pao. In the specific matchup, I believe that Chien-Pao is very strong, so Scorp has to be aware of that because, probably the most consistent defensive mon of Scorpion is Great Tusk, which is weak to Chien-Pao. And so Chien-Pao can go in if Raymon is good enough to get rid of Scorpion's walls. On the other hand, though, I believe that Meowscarada and Sylveon can be very good, came to play very strong in this matchup because once you get rid of Galarian Weezing, which is very hard to get rid of course, Meowscarada can go in. So it's a pretty tight matchup. Probably Raymon, matchup-wise, has a little bit of advantage, but of course, I talked to Raymon, and I believe that he never beat Scorpion. So probably, there's a little bit of that psychological feeling where you have to beat for the first time a very strong opponent like Scorpion. So that could come to play, of course.
Absolutely. What do you think, Al?
I agree with what he said about Meowscarada. I believe it does have that potential. It really can't do anything against the Weezing as far as I know, I think. But even if it does get through it, it does have to worry about, like, say, Ice Shard from Shenpao, and it will be slower than Blaziken if it ever gets a speed boost. So it doesn't have a completely free time even after Weezing is done. But I think Iron Moth, Raymon's fire resists are Blaziken and Giratina. Now Giratina can obviously handle it, but it is a Terra Captain. So if Iron Moth, it could Terrasilize obviously to hit Giratina, and then there's really not much of a switch into a fire type move, aside from of course Terrasilizing Ogerpon Wellspring into a pure water type, which it most likely will be. And it will get the special defense boost. But and yeah, Sylveon too, like Kingbura said, Sylveon is good. I think it gets Shadow Ball potentially for Jirachi, if Jirachi wants to try to stand in his way. Sticky Webs as well. I think Raymon has advantage in speed. So if he wants to try to bring Vikavolt, he could try to bring Webs to slow some stuff down. So Lunala can outspeed everything. Because if Lunala is slower than things, it's not going to like it in this game. And even then, Shadow Sneak potential from Giratina and Sucker Punch from Shenpao. So I think it's going to be hard for Raymon. I think the matchup is in Scorpion's favor. No, not Scorpion's favor. Sorry, I meant Raymond's favor. Wait a minute. I'm second guessing. I am. I'm bouncing back. I'm looking between two different mons. I got it in front of me.
It's like have you seen the meme with SpongeBob looking at the book and he's got both of his eyes on both pages?
But, actually, I don't have a visual of that.
Well, you can see it later.
I can see it happening, yes, but I did have it in my head. Who was I going to give it to? I did decide, now I'm second guessing myself.
Matchup-wise, I believe that Raymon is slightly in advantage, but slightly.
Yeah, I think I'm going to say just because I think his two Ubers is really strong into Scorpion's one. And there isn't much of a switch in for Shenpao. Not really. Maybe. I don't know how bulky. I know Vikavolt can be physically defensive, but I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, I think Scorpion could definitely switch in like Mons to one of his stabs, but like he can't switch him into all of them, you know, like he can switch in the Great Tusk on a dark move, then he's still threatening him with the ice move. He can switch the Empoleon in on the ice move, but then he's still got Sacred Sword, so Scorpion's got to play this game carefully, in my opinion. I will say, just to like going back in terms of like the history of these two players, I'm just going off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they in season 1 they never faced off. In season 2, it was a crazy game. If you guys go back and watch it, if you believe it or not, Scorpion had an Oricorio that lived a Glaive Rush from Raymond's back Caliber and KO'd it back, and Scorpion just barely got the win there. And then season 3, so season 3, I think there was something where he paralyzed one of his Pokemon. Scorpion did against Raymond, I think, and then so Scorp actually won in the semifinals, just like a match like this. And then finally, of course, last season, Scorpion got the win on him in the finals. So they're facing off once again in the playoffs here, and Raymond is yet to be able to beat him. Just similar to how I have never beaten Raymond in the playoffs, so it's crazy. These two are probably some of the most intensive preppers, I will say. Like, these guys go all in with the calcs and with getting their Mon set up to be able to go. So, like, pay attention to the team builders for these guys, because they're definitely going to be in depth.
Yeah, we will see a lot of strategies and counter strategies for both of them. I believe that getting that momentum early is very important. The first 5 to 10 turns of this game can be very important, because once you are in advantage at this high level, it's very tough to get back. So I believe that both Raymond and Scorp has to play very aggressively from the start. If you don't want to give free turns to the others, because They both are so good at maximizing their turns. So it's gonna be a very strong game. Just by the lead, just a strong lead can help you a lot in this game.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can. I also just want to mention that Scorpion's playoff schedule is very similar to his last season, because last season he had to go through me, and then he went Raymon right afterwards. It's just that was the semifinals and then finals. This time it's quarterfinals and then semis. So he has like almost the same schedule, except whatever. If he wins, then he'll have obviously something different for the finals. But I just wanted to say that.
Speaking of which, let's take a look at the other side of the bracket, which is going to be Biradu versus myself. So, what are we thinking here, guys?
Do you want to start out this time?
Sure. I can start this time. Did you guys play in the regular season? I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. This is going to be our first time facing off.
Okay. This is my first time. Okay.
Time ever?
No.
Like
So
looking
in our
at
history, we didn't actually battle until season 2, and that was like late in the season. And I did manage to get the win there. I had I think they had they believe it or not, Al, they actually had an Iron Moth, and unfortunately for them, I had Heatran, so my Heatran just walled it out. And then in season 3, so that was like the end of season 2, and then we go right into season 3, and me and him faced off again. And unfortunately for them, I had a Gouging Fire against their Terrapoise and Moltres, and I had already clicked DD. But the problem was I wasn't paying attention. I saw that their health bar dropped to 0 from an Earthquake, and I was like, yes, let's go! And I was like cheering and celebrating, and I didn't pay attention to the fact that I got a crit. And so Gouging Fire went on to get all 6 kills in that game. I didn't know. It's like I was like, yeah, it's like that meme of like the dude like celebrating and like, yeah. But then he turns around and he's like, oh wait a minute, I tricked this guy.
So that's why Emerald is a heal, I guess.
Well, it goes back. So the real birth of Heal Emerald, in my opinion, is season 1, week 2, up against none other than Captain Beanard, when I froze this man's Hawlucha with my Articuno.
Yeah. I remember.
This man got
saw
frozen, and yeah, it was quite unfortunate.
After he Terra Sealed, by the way.
It's a string of just like hacks moments coming off of me. Like probably one of the worst ones was season 4 versus Anastasia, where I got like 2 full paras and crits, and I can't even remember all of them. I think I got 5 hits on a Water Shuriken against a Dragapult with my Water Shuriken Greninja, and it killed from like 45%. It was crazy.
But this is the first time that you are facing in playoffs, right?
First time in playoffs, that's it, yep.
Okay.
Right. Well, it's hard for me to look at this matchup because I'm pretty sure I said this, but Emerald, I like how your team has literally no like red dots on your team builder. There's no
That's what I was going for. Even with the transactions, when I made those transactions, I was like, we got to keep this all green.
Yes.
As best we can.
You did, and it's very successful. There's only 2 that are not green, and they're just neutral, so it's very impressive.
I learned from Beanard, put a levitate Pokemon on there.
Yes. Now, let's see. What do I think? I think, well, Mewtwo obviously is faster than his entire team, which is already a plus. Okay, maybe Kingbura, maybe you should start. I'm thinking, unless you're also thinking.
No problem. But first of all, before speaking about the matchup, I want to talk about the drama this time too, because these 2 coaches, they both announced their retirement after this season. So, so this will be the last game for one of them. One of them is done, is cooked after this game. But besides that, I believe that we have to enjoy these 2 weeks because there could be some changes after this season. So these matchups can't be doesn't get any better than this, because Scorp versus Ray, Bira versus Emerald, the consistency is at its best. In this matchup in particular, I believe that of course Raging Bolt is very good, but Raging Bolt, Terra Raging Bolt is always very good. Such a great mon. After Lunala is the kill leader of the league, tied with my Lilligant, and I believe so that if you remove Ubers from the equation, is the kill leader of the league. So Biradu is using it very, very well. Now the point is, which Terra do you bring? Because I believe that Grass is very good against Quag, but at the same time you want to be ground to hit both Goldengo and Mach pre-Terra. So you don't know. There's a lot of choices, and Biradu has to bring the right one. From the other side, I believe that for Emerald it will be very important to put up hazards. You want to pressure Ho-Ho, you want to pressure all of Biradu's mons with some rocks, with some others. Okay, maybe Ho-Ho can have boots, okay. But once you have the information that Ho-Ho has boots, then you know that you cannot have any other item, so you can work around it better. At the same time, you have to, if you're Emerald, you want to bring a defensive core, because Raging Bolt, Roaring Moon, they're so strong. So you want to, bring maybe the Quagsire, maybe the special defense of Mach to somehow stop them, or at least limitate them. Emerald always brought his top 3 mons that you can see in the graphics, so they are probably gonna come, but who knows? Terra Zarud is very solid in this matchup, but you have to pick the right Terra. So I don't know. Very tough to say who has the matchup here, because I see Roaring Moon very good, but at the same time, if Mewtwo sets up as he did in the quarterfinals, he can be very strong too. So I don't know. Maybe I will give the matchup to Emerald, but maybe I'm not seeing something that is slips out of my mind right now. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, Emerald probably is not gonna go to talk about.
I'll let Al talk first. What do you think?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it to Emerald. I just want to talk about the hazard game that you were saying. If Emerald does want to bring rocks, he has to bring Quagsire, which is not horrible, but it is Quagsire, or he has to save or use a slot on his Terapagos, which might not want to do that. And even then, Iron Tread should be able to get rid of them, because the hazard blocker is going to be Goldengo, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to want to switch in on an Iron Treads unless it's like Air Balloon, but even then, it can take a knockoff. So I think the rocks are going to be hard to stay up. I think the Ho-Oh, I don't think it has to worry about rocks in this game. I don't think it has to run heavy duty boots. I think Ho-Oh can get away with something else. I don't know what it's going to be though, but I think it can. At the same time, I don't know. I don't think Ho-Oh gets any rock coverage. So Rotom Heat is it's a pretty good answer to it. I mean, it's slower, just barely, but just barely, so Ho-Oh will have to run like max speed. As you said, the Roaring Moon has potential. It's gonna have potential. It should always. A Dragon Dance will be really strong. It'll outspeed Scarf. Zapdos, if it gets Dragon Dance up.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the Barraskewda even, I think, just if it has potential of just 4 attacks, like Expert Belt even, because minus the Terra Raging Bolt with Thunderclap, obviously, that will just, even if it wasn't Terra, just take care of Barraskewda, but it can run an Ice move to take on the Shaman, because it'll be faster than Shaman. The Ice move could hit Roaring Moon as well. It could run Close Combat, because it gets that for some reason, to hit a couple of other things. Psychic Fangs can hit Tentacruel, and then the Water move for like Ho-Oh, that hits a lot of things, but if he's 4 attacks, then he is weak to Thunderclap, like I said. So maybe he could get away with 3 attacks And if he had Substitute, that actually is a great way to stop both Sucker Punch and Thunderclap. Toxic Spikes. Let's see. I don't think they're really that good. I always when I team build, I always check, is our Toxic Spikes good in this game? Because if they are good, then they have the potential to be great. But I don't think either team is weak to them because their grounded poison types are both very good, in my opinion. And Muck has proved itself all season. I gotta say, like, it's even like me against me week 1 for sure. Annoying Chi-Yu. And I don't want to ignore Girafarig as well, just because there was that 1 week that Girafarig just.
I was just watching that game. That was crazy. That thing took out Dragapult, Iron Valiant, Solgaleo.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
He got 4 kills, I believe.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't think there's a world where Girafarig come in this match, which is so important, but you never know. You cannot absolutely count it out. From the other side...
Sorry, go ahead. That was the Girafarig.
I was saying that at the same time, Emerald has 2 strong Terra captains, so he has the potential to bring them both, and then he can decide which one to Terra, which is very important.
Girafarig is actually not that bad. The only normal type switch in now just to resist it is Goldengo. And his specially defensive piece is Muck. And if it doesn't Terra, obviously it's weak to Psychic. So I actually don't think that Girafarig is that bad in this game. Also, it resists Side Strike. So I actually think Girafarig is actually not too bad. It's not that slow, but against Emerald's team, it is kind of slow because both teams are very fast. I gotta say, they're very fast teams.
Yeah, that's why the right scarf on a mon can be so important. I mean, you can put it on Gardevoir, on Rotom Heat. We saw Ho-Ho scarf in the quarterfinals, which was very, very good from Biradu. So we saw Zapdos with the scarf, I believe. So there are so many mons that, since they are so fast, if you put the right scarf on the right mon, you literally can destroy the opponent if he's not well prepared to that.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. Even Scarf Shaman can be good, even because it should outspeed most things. I don't think, unless Emerald really wants to make sure he outspeeds something with Scarf Mewtwo or Scarf Barraskewda, but I don't think so. I mean, he's right here, so it makes me nervous to say something like that. He's listening to me.
I want to say like that mon has to come, but then Emerald is here, so I don't know. But still, I think that for example, Terrapagos has a lot of potential too. That mon is so bulky, not easy to take out. So
I was surprised when that thing honestly took the superpower from Deoxys.
Wow. Oh, right, yeah. Of course. Yeah, Terrapagos, when I had it in another league, I don't remember, it's very versatile. I don't think you're ever going to find a game where it really where it can't do anything. I think it should probably show up to most games. It's very good. Yeah. And then if something does wall it, it has Toxic for some reason. You can just
He has so much coverage, so in draft is like a perfect mon because you can adapt it to a lot of matchups.
Yeah, and I will say I've mainly been using it as kind of like every single week has just been like heavy duty boots, rapid spin. But even then, like it's gotten like more kills than the Terra-Zarude, which I will say at this point I am a little bit disappointed in my Terra-Zarude. Maybe it's because I've mainly been using it as an AV Pokemon and not like a setup Pokemon, but you know.
Yeah, you brought the AV a lot, I must say. But I mean, 7 kill in 10 games, maybe not that.
Well, because keep in mind, like when people were praising this thing like it was the Messiah. I mean, like they were acting like this is the best Terra Captain, but no, clearly, it seems like a Raging Bolt. Deserves that title, in my opinion, based on this.
I will say, when I was trying to,
it's got that priority.
For sure, yes,
true.
In week 1, when I was trying to prep for Zarude, I was like, this thing is taking hits way too well. Like if it has synthesis, like it's actually like with Terra, it can use synthesis and it can be way bulkier than expected, kind of like an Iron Moth. And I was gonna say about Terapagos, it's very good rapid spinner because 85 speed is like the juicy number for a +1 speed boost. Like when you get +1, you usually outspeed everything. When you're at 85,
rapid spin calcs for Terapagos this season.
Yeah. So it's a tough to decide matchup. I think I said Emerald, but honestly, it doesn't. It's not that clear. I don't really know what Ho-Oh does, if I'm being honest. I don't know anything much about it. I know it obviously Sacred Fire and stuff, but I haven't checked his moves yet.
Is you can spam Brave Bird and then you switch out and get the regen.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, he can't really do that against you because Rotom's not gonna care to take your Brave Bird.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just saying, like in general, it has a good amount of coverage too.
Okay, I haven't actually. I should have. I guess I didn't play Biradu, so I never even. And I don't play Ubers really, so I don't really know what Ho-Oh does, aside from seeing it in random battles on Showdown, which it's always just heavy duty boots with Sacred Fire and recover and stuff. So.
I will say though, in this match, like if I was to lose this, I would not even be upset. I would be glad that because this is my first time making it back to the semifinals in BHDL in like over a year. And if I was to lose to Biradu, I'd be happy for him because this is the first time being out of the quarterfinals and playoffs.
Yeah. Also, Biradu has a very strong 8-game win streak. He doesn't.
He's coming off of a. I mean, he's ever since he made the transactions for week 2. He still lost week 2, but even then, like that was close, and he redeemed himself because he just beat Pokemaster, which was his loss in week 2. So basically, this team of his, ever since he made those transactions, is basically undefeated.
Yeah, I talked to Biradu. If he wins against you, that will be the longest winning streak in history of BHDL because right now he's tied with Raymon. With 8, Raymon had an 8 winning streak in season 4, I believe. So if he's able to beat you, he can go 9 win and it can be the record setting, which will be amazing. But but so he has the momentum, of course. When you win so much game, you gain confidence, and it's very hard to stop a guy who's winning that much. But at the same time,
I will say that the advantage that I have going into this game is that compared to previous weeks where I was like busy with work, I'm free all this week, so I'll be doing plenty of mocks and plenty of prep. So this is probably the most prepped game that I've had all season. Well-prepped game that I've had all season.
Yeah. Time is very important. Time management is very important in draft. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Any closing thoughts, guys? What do we think? I guess so. Assuming, who do you guys out of these 4 coaches? Who do you think have to win the whole thing?
Wow.
Do you want me to think who I think is going to, or who I want to, the most?
You can give both.
Okay. Okay, well, I want you to win the most. I do. I've known you the longest, and Now, who I think is going to win? I'm looking at probably either Scorpion or Raymon because it's so safe to pick one of those two. They've won, there's 2-time champion and 1-time champion right there. So I most likely will pick one of them. Which team do I think is better? I think Scorpion's team is better, so I'm going to pick Scorpion. I think his team is very well built because I spent a lot of time and frustration prepping for that team. And I kind of got destroyed. I got very lucky.
Win the whole thing as well, so that's a safe bet.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, actually, hang on. Let me retract that because I feel like I have Raymond favored in this matchup versus him. So if he wins, then I think Raymond probably goes on to win the whole thing. Although if Scorpion can eke it out, then he probably wins. So I'm for sure between those two.
Wait, you're not picking yourself? Why are you not picking yourself?
I mean,
Pick
my
yourself.
record versus these two is not the best. Okay, you saw I just barely eked out a win versus Scorpion. I have never beat Raymond in playoffs, so I am not going to give myself the advantage in this case.
But you have the mascot advantage.
I do have the mascot
Yeah, that's
advantage.
true.
We'll have to see if that's enough. We'll have to see if that's enough. If I have to get past Biradu first.
You do. You have the mascot advantage against him too. No Tyranitar.
What do you think?
Damn, I should draft Inkay soon.
You should.
Malamar.
You should.
I don't know really because we have 3 coaches that announced retirement, so I don't know because I want all of them to win. Especially Emerald and Biradu, they never won BHDL, so I would be happy for them to win. But at the same time, I got close to Raymon in the last week, so I'm rooting for him too. Scorp is such a nice guy too, so I'm not gonna say who I want to win. I'm gonna say who I think is going to win, and my safe bet is Scorpion. But of course, all of core coaches are so strong and so consistent, so it really can be any of the 4.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, if I had to choose, I would rather it be Biradu probably, because I feel like he's the one that started this with a Praetor way back in the day, so it'd be really meaningful if he could make it all the way too.
Yeah, also he's becoming
rather than
dead,
just have
so
somebody
that
else,
would be
like
amazing.
have people that already won again. I feel like that'd be more meaningful, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's gonna
Yeah,
be
also
crazy.
he's becoming dead, so that will be amazing.
That too. Yeah, I go on a big high note. My retirement probably isn't going to be as long as Biradu's. I don't know if I'm going to wait all the way until Gen 10. We'll see. It'll probably maybe a year though. We'll see. We'll see what the state of BHDL is in a little bit.
I can't wait to see BHDL Season 6 and Emerald immediately comes out of retirement.
Nah, listen, I'm perfectly content watching all the games, maybe doing some watch togethers if I have the time, and just analyzing the coaches that we have.
With everyone retiring though, who's gonna step in my way? I'm just kidding.
I'm sure that we'll find some people. I'm sure that we can get some people
Yes.
from the original Battle Hub to join.
Yeah. And I don't know if you remember Blattle, but I was trying to get maybe
No,
Blattle to join.
Was he in Battle Hub?
No, he was never in the BHDL.
Okay.
But
What do I mean, like Jack server, like that's where we all started from.
oh, I have no idea. I don't know. I met him in
Like if
my
I could,
first
like I
meet.
know Danger Dave, this he was expressed interest in season 6. And he was like way back when we were doing Sword and Shield Wi-Fi battles in the Battle Hub back before when it was only like 100 people in there. Now it's like over 1,000, maybe 2,000. But we had a little like just a Battle Hub league. It wasn't draft. It was just we all battled. And this guy named Caddy, he was actually in BHDL season 3, and we all battle, and whoever got the most amount of wins would win. And Danger Dave actually won the first one. So. I think it'd be cool if he could be able to join now that it's draft. So we'll see. And I'm sure we can get some
join. Yeah. I have no doubt there will be enough players. But yeah,
I mean,
I'm already as soon as I lost, I was ready to start the next season.
Really? You were raring to go. For me, like I'm ready to put the game down. I'm ready to play some other games.
When for some reason, when I lose, I just get this bloodlust I need.
I understand that. That's how I felt last season, and then that's why I went right into SDA, but then I had to go right into SDA and BHDL and UNPL and PPL. So all that together was like, okay, this is too much. Okay, I'm ready to stop for a bit.
Right.
But yeah, Kingbura, any other final thoughts?
Draft League it's like it's like some kind of a drug, you get addicted to it.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say that. Yes, sir.
But at the same time, it can be unhealthy sometimes. But at the same time, it can make you feel very good. So I said that in my video. Of course, it was in Italian, so you probably did not understand. But I said that there's a border between the fun and the stress. So you have to manage that. As long as the fun is higher than the stress, then it's all good. Once the stress surpasses the fun, then it's unhealthy, and you have to take a break, stop, and start managing it better. So probably that's what happened for me in the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, and just like Al, I'm mad that I lost, so I wanna I wanna come back immediately.
Hey,
Yeah.
I can understand that for sure. I mean, that was me the first couple seasons. But, I will say, in terms of like draft, like the BHDL is probably out of all the draft leagues I've been, this is probably one of the best ones. Just because I don't know what it is about it, but we all just like form this like tight knit community, and it's like these people that live all over the world in different places. It's like we all have this one thing that we all come together for, and like we're all experiencing like the same moment together. It's like all these different narratives and stories, and we're all it's like collaborative storytelling. You know, it's all together. You know, and so I just think it's a beautiful thing.
It is. You know what? I've stressed this before. I stressed this last season. I'm stressing this again. Like you just said, the community of this league is the best I've ever seen. It is always fire and hype. Everyone, it never dies down. Like most leagues I join, after like week 3, it just kind of dies down and no one says anything in the lobby or anything like that until the playoffs, really. But in this league, it is always playoffs in a way. Like it's so fun the whole way around, and everyone's nice, and it's just it's a very it's
And
a
I
good
think a
community.
big part of that is because a lot of us, like, I mean, like Pokemaster, Brandon, Biradu, Raymon, like I knew a lot of them from the Battle Hub like server, and that's where we would just do casual Wi-Fi battles. And then so when this started up, and it was like, oh, Pokemaster, Brandon, Biradu, like we're all coming together, and we're all gonna like fight a draft now. So it was like all of our universes working, and then we also got like other people like a Praetor, and like in season 1 we had Bread, who was really good at drafts. So we had like notable draft players come in, and then Scorpion. That was where I met him for the first time, and he turned out to be one of the best players that there is in the league. And so it's just a bunch. And then over time, you see that throughout the different seasons, we got new people usually coming in and new storylines being added. And so it's beautiful. Like one day I would want to go back and just look through all like the old seasons, just like look at how everything evolved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as for me, I've never seen those battles to decide the story, so one day I will go back and watch those fateful events that I only hear about.
Yeah, you had to be there, but thankfully they're all there pretty much. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way this community welcomed me was amazing. I really immediately I was able to get to know so many friends, and I'm so happy for that, because even if I lost, I feel like I won something special. You know, I got into a very warm and welcoming community, and as Al said, it feels like it's always hype. Also, there's not a single toxic person in the community. All good person, really. So I'm very happy to be in.
Yeah. Glad you're here, Kingbura. I will say, when I lost to in week 2, at a certain point I was like, oh man, I lost. But on the other hand, I was like, oh man, we found a new strong adversary here in the BHDL.
You just reminded me. I remember when you lost to him in week 2, you said something like, "Let's see you try to beat this team" in your video. And when you said that,
Yeah,
I think
that was my video reaction. I was like, and keep in mind I was sick too, so I wasn't in the best mental state. But
Yeah.
I was like,
Right.
you trying to beat this? Look at this team that this guy. But I was saying that like in a good way too. Like, look at this team that he's constructed. This is incredible.
It was, yes, and I lost to it as well, unfortunately.
14th in the power ranks, by the way.
Yeah, I still don't. I think. Well, keep in mind, I think that
But
that
I
was just
didn't have
because
a
you
lot of
didn't
money.
have a dark type, and like honestly, my plan going into you was like, oh, I'm gonna have Indeedee, I'm gonna just spam expanding forest, and then I go to check the matchup like a little bit before I started building. I was like, wait a minute, where does Moon come from? Where does Moon come from? No, I can't do my expanding forest. Put off my old plan. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was
that
once you did
everything.
that, it was like everything started clicking together, and then you'd fixed your one weakness, and then just the overall immense power of it was able to catapult you through. And I mean, 7-2 on your first time. I mean, that is very good, my friend. Very good.
Thank you very much. I was a little bit lucky, of course, with the first choice and with the a couple of games where even the game against Gal was very lucky for me, but at the end I'm very happy of about how I played.
Hey, you don't gotta talk to me about luck. I mean, let's say the amount of. I mean, you saw all about my poison touches,
Yeah.
and who knows what else happened. Just the recent Pyro miss. But sometimes you
Yeah,
just gotta be like, you know what? And sometimes we gotta accept the fact that this is Pokemon is the game that we play, and there's a little bit of luck involved. And I know for certain
Yeah.
that my hacks is eventually gonna catch up to me. And then
Yeah.
when it does, I'll accept it.
Yeah.
And me as well. My quarterfinal luck was just, it was off the charts.
Yeah, the fact that you ate overcrunch just for that flinch chance. Oh, I was looking at Bulbapedia and I thought it was 10%. But in the back of my mind, I was no, it should be 30, but it flipped me off. But so no, that
Yeah.
was a 30% chance to flinch each time.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I used to run, in a playthrough, I always have a Crobat, and I usually keep Bite for a long time, so I love Bite. 30% flinch is totally not 30%.
I mean, if you go for it, it's not luck, it's skill.
Yes, entirely. Especially as Zamazenta's 138 speed, he's going to outspeed you to get that flinch chance.
You waited right up until that. You never used Bite all season, right?
No.
That was the first time you unveiled that strategy.
Yes, for sure. Because Bite was
Seeing
literally the
Cable
only
was
thing it
right.
hit. The only thing Bite hit was Lunala, so that was the only thing it was super effective against. So I might as well run Bite over Crunch.
Yeah, that is fair. Well, I will say though, in the moment when I was watching, I was if I was rooting for you then, I mean, I was definitely rooting for Scorpion after I saw it.
Oh no!
But no, it's fine
no.
though, because afterwards, I mean, hey, it adds to the narrative. You know what I mean? It's all storytelling. I'm never gonna forget watching that thing get 3 flinches in a row. That's like a core memory for me now. So it's all good.
Yeah, Lugia got 3 flinches in a row too, I believe.
Yeah.
It did. Lugia just
I can respect the air slash. I can respect the air slash. The bite.
The Bite was
you know what?
crazy.
Sometimes
Quick
you gotta
question.
play your outs. You gotta play your outs, and you know what? Sometimes that's what you gotta do.
Does Sync bypasses sub, by the way?
The what passes sub?
Sing, Clefable.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Noise based.
Yeah, it does.
That was I will say the Sing blunder policy that made me happy seeing that. I was like, I can definitely get behind that, sir. That was a genius strat.
It was good. Yes, I couldn't get Iron Moth to Terra. If he Terra'd water, I had Thunderbolt on Clefable. So if he Terra'd water with Iron Moth, then Clefable was gonna be able to do stuff, but he just refused to Terra it, so he didn't miss his toxins.
Yeah, my simple monkey brain was like, Terra, dude, get the Terra off so you can live the Earthquake and Toxic the Lugia. But in hindsight, he was thinking 4D chess. You see, this is why I still have yet to be able to send to Scorpion's level. He's thinking on a higher plane than I am. He wanted to keep the Terra, not Terra, to be able to get the 100% accurate Toxic and to be able to resist the hits. So kudos to him.
Yep. It was just, I tried, it was 3 or 4 times I had Lugia in front of Iron Moth. I pushed Earthquake, and I said in my video, which by the way, I will, the video is coming, I will edit it. I had to go to work as soon as I finished the battle, so I wasn't able to edit it. But I said, 7 times, I need to force this thing to Terra. It was a great play. I can't deny that him not Terraing was probably, it won him the game in the end, really.
A funny thing that I brought Sleep Powder against Ray, but I was thinking, damn, 75% is bad. Probably I'm gonna miss it. Al brought Sync with 55 and said, I don't care.
I was expecting... My plan was, because Empoleon is supposed to come in on Clefable, my plan was, I'm going to use it the first time as it comes in. I'm probably going to miss. I'll get the blunder policy, be faster than it guaranteed, and then I'll hit the second one and then start setting up combines. Because I expected it to roar me out. I expected Empoleon to have roar 100%. I don't think he did, though. I didn't see it. So
Oh,
that was
man.
supposed to, I was expecting to miss Sing, but I actually landed, I think, 3 or 4 out of 4 or 5 or something like that. I landed most of them, which was very impressive. But as I miss
so something
high
like-
horsepower earlier in the game.
Yeah.
All right, folks. So with that, I think that we have delved pretty well into most of these matchups. Yeah, this is. I'm telling you, these are going to be some crazy games. I think this is going to be some of the most hyped
Yeah.
games in BHDL history. Let's just hope that that there's not going to be any hacks involved. But at the end of the day, I expect some hacks. This is just how these draft league games go in the playoffs. It seems like every single time something happens. But I'm sure that, looking back, eventually we'll all come back from it and then still get along after. So, with that, thank you to Al and Kingbura so much for being here and going over these matchups.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
Peace.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And it was fun.
Peace.
Absolutely.